Hi, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of MUSEfest. Today is the second session of what is turning out to be a really great event. Yesterday, we had just such an awesome lineup of musicians, artists, poets, dancers. We had improv, we had classical music, we had jazz, indie rock, and the whole 9 yards. It was just such a great gathering, and today is like day 2. So we have another wonderful lineup planned for today. So the purpose of MUSEfest is to simply amplify awesome women in the arts and to also bring, connect people, people who are working on diverse projects and to just sort of make this world, especially in this moment in time in history, just a little bit more fun, more creative, and a little bit better. So let's launch. Our first artist today is Lara America. And what I wanted to mention before we launch the artists is that in the chat area, I'm going to be posting information about each artist as we go. The artist is going to have their website. Some people have tip jars. If there are tip jars, please do deposit a tip into their tip jar. Every little bit helps in this moment of, in this difficult year. And definitely you can ask the artist questions, interact with them there. They're not going to be able to chat with you during their live performance, but they can go back into the chat and see who's left comments. So definitely leave comments. It's always super appreciated. So our first guest, Laura Marico from New York City, was having internet issues today, and her internet is super spotty. So in the end, she made a video. So we're going to present that video. And unfortunately, she's not going to be able to do a live performance. And I'm super bummed about that because she's got a great act. So next MUSEfest, she's going to be live, and hopefully we'll all be in person in New York. And so what I've decided to do is I'm going to do a live set at the end. I'm at the tail end of MUSEfest. So what I'm going to do is do a portion of my live set during Lara's set, and then the timing will all be correct for the rest of today. So here is a video that Lara made with her full band. You'll see. Thank you so much, Laura. That was excellent. I'm so bummed that you weren't able to play live today. So I'm sliding a little bit of my set into your time today. So one of the projects that I've been working on this fall is the release of a record that I actually released in the spring called Stingray. And my plan today was to play as much of Stingray as I can. I've got 8 songs, and Stingray is available on Spotify and all the other locations where you are finding music these days. But I'll just get started. So I'm Hannah Judson. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm a MUSEfest producer, co-producer with my colleague in London, Zeb Achanu. She is unfortunately not here tonight, but she is part of this and is behind the scenes. There are a lot of people behind the scenes with this project, and we will get to that. This first song I'm going to play for you is called Deep Sea Diver, and it's a love song. All right, so that song was Deep Sea Diver. The next song I'm going to play for you is called Water Me Down. And just to say, I hope if you can hear, all right, can you just let me know in the chat? I wasn't able to obviously do a sound check because we're not in a space together. So if any of the audio needs tweaking, can you let me know? And I'll work on it. So start. You've got a way of taking what I don't have anymore. I don't have anymore. You at the back room, just to survive. Shadows night, no always dive. Lift your head up, see where you are. Same old morning routine, same old time. Save up your pennies, finally hold back. Everyone is counting on you. You don't count back. You don't count back. You act like the room, making plans just to survive. Always dive. At the back of the room, making plans just to survive. Always dive. I don't believe I told you what comes next. Birds fly higher than you do. What did you expect? Things you have coming, don't repeat back. All these cliches just roll off the tongue like better days ahead. Better days ahead. Better days ahead. Better days ahead. Oh, better days ahead. Better days ahead. That's right, yeah. Better days ahead. Better days ahead. Oh yeah, better days ahead. Better days ahead. Better days ahead. That's right. Better days ahead. All right, thank you. You know, one of the fun things about doing these live streams is that we're not together, and so it's great. We have a large expanse of how much we can communicate, but there's no like audio feedback. I can't hear if you're like, yay or boo. So you're just sort of like left on your own a little bit, which is one of the fun things. So I'm going to do another song from Stingray called Parachute. And it's a relatively optimistic song about life being an adventure and just sort of taking a leap forward as it arrives. Say it out loud, falls from your mouth. You call it screaming, you call it loud. Somewhere you better write it down. That skywriter sure can fly, but can't jump out. You are made of these things you don't know. If you pray, just do it now. Roll it around. pours a drink. You are made out of these things you don't know. If you pray, just do it now. Say say If you play the bass guitar, pull 4 strings from your heart, lay them down in a row. You are made of these things you don't know. If you pray, just do it now. Roll it around. Say Seems like you've fallen straight from the sky. Yes, ma'am, your parachute should work some of the time. If you don't want to jump, just hold your arms out wide. Lean into the void. Fly. You are made of these things you don't know. Right, just do it now. Roll it around. Say All right, I've got time for one more, and then after this, Jenia is going to be performing an original classical piece, or rather new music piece. Then after that, we've got Christy Pearl who's going to be reading. I'm really looking forward to that. So this last song of this first portion of my set is called Silkworm, and goes like this. If there is a lesson here, love does not just disappear. Love's not for the faint of heart. It takes what you got and spits it out like a silver spewing thread. Tiny jaws spin Beyonce, from which we pull our morning dress. Dark silk for our very best. Stars still shine on when she'll leave. The life we build on tenterhooks, careful planning and all the rest, never makes it on the books, never makes it on the books. The stars still shine on the house where you were born, and the street follows you home. And some you made your own. Oh, and some you made your own. If there is a lesson here, love does not just disappear. All right, thank you guys so much. So next up is Jenia, who is a composer and a pianist. She is also a piano instructor. She's also the founder of Piano Yoga, which is a super interesting program that she teaches and developed for doing yoga for your musician's hands. Very interesting stuff. I'm reaching over. I'm going to find her video. And this is a song that she composed called Babylon. That was the amazing Genia and Babylon. So up next is Christy Pearl, a poet and writer from Chicago, and I'm so looking forward to this next, our next guest, and so I'm bringing her up right away. Hello, Christy.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to Hannah for putting this festival together. I think, these are incredibly weighty times that we're all living through, and art is a great balm, whether you're creating art or receiving it or both. So it's just really an honor to be part of this festival and in the company of so many talented women. I'm going to read today in 3 sections. The first is a group of 5 poems. I'm going to read about sort of on the theme of women and home. And then I'll read a very short story after that, and then I'll go back to a grouping of poems. So let me just sort of start by saying I think it's a big mistake to think of poems as tiny autobiographies, but I do hope that these pieces ring true in their way. So this is the first poem I actually ever had published, so it seems like a really good place to start. It's called Cleaving. When it happens, we will divide this household in half. All its worldly belongings split in 2 toward contractual fairness. You will keep the cushions of this couch, while I carry its base and casters, which will be better for my napping as I enjoy things firm. You will have the pots, I the pans, a future for you of soup, for me, eggs. The towels will be mine and the blankets yours, so I can clean the filth from this body and you can dream warm. We'll argue whether the swear jar should be divided by value or by type. I with all the quarters, you with the rest. You'll keep the front half of the dog so you can see her galloping toward you as you stumble through the back door after dark. She thought you'd never get home. I'll take her hind quarters so she can pillbug beside me on these bones of a sofa. You will retain the loud shout needed for televised football games. I will keep your quiet voice, the ghost of early love. So this next piece is called Retreat, and thanks so much to the Bangalore Review for publishing it in their September issue. Retreat. The tiny cottage in the woods is abandoned until the woman whose husband drinks takes refuge there after a bender without regret. The woman loves her husband, and this is how she continues to love him, fleeing. When the gin comes out, she heads to the place with the skeletons of mice swept into the corners, the freshly dead smell of brassicas before the molasses of rot sets in. The woman will linger here for hours. She may bring a blanket or bread, a flashlight, a book. She may stay the night. She'll watch the freight trains pass beyond the tall pines, flashing boxcar painted jewels covered in cipher, corn products at the rear. A boy died in this cottage 30 years ago after getting lost in a freak snowstorm. His mother, who remembers little else, still curses the empty cupboards of this place. A gunman hid out after killing a couple for the $40 in their wallet. Now he mops floors at Dixon and once saw the Virgin Mary in a watermelon rind, which changed him. The woman knows none of this. If she did, she might stay away. But on this night, she falls asleep as bats stir in the eaves. She'll walk back gingerly in the morning, returning to the kind and clear-headed man she believes herself to love, who will be fixing a leaky faucet he's been meaning to get to for months. This next piece is called Weekly Constitutional with Flour and Eggs. There is a souffle in the oven, again. Our mother tells us not to make a sound if we know what's good for us. Stop at once raising our voices at each other. Stop tossing that yellow tennis ball in the hallway. November boredom is getting the better of us in Northern Lights country. Don't let your feet so much as touch the floor anywhere past this line. an imaginary arc drawn with her finger along the linoleum. My sister and I stare at one another, make cruel faces, comic faces, daring the other to be first, to laugh, to make a peep, to risk our mother's wagging silent finger now, and the slap of her hand later. Even the dog goes anemic. Our mother never liked souffle, but the piece was a momentary atlas to lost joy. She cooked them weekly and fed them to the dog. And this next piece is called Mona's House. Jesus lived on candles in her living room, baby with a man's face, swaddled. Golden halo circled around the brown hair of a prophet, like the sun clock in the kitchen that seemed to tick backwards toward the hour we could leave, which took as long as the Pleistocene. We, my sister and I, afraid of the candles and the woman who set them burning for our visits and made us pray before a snack of graham crackers and orange punch. We, my sister and I, trying to make ourselves small to disappearing, seeking refuge on our mother's lap, wishing we could crawl into the pocket of her shirt, hiding until she jangled the keys. Our grandmother had the beard of a billy goat and a husband who died young of lung disease. She once did a dance in the kitchen and sang of a cow peeing on her dress, and we laughed until she told us to be quiet, and we realized the song wasn't supposed to be funny. The candles looked down at us from the mantel by the fireplace that never contained fire, but was simply a platform for Jesus on the cross and photos of her nephews in uniform. Marines stationed on the other side of a spinning globe that refused to pendulum back. They wrote letters in swirling ink to their aunt, who preferred boys to my sister and me, two girls who didn't understand guns or lacrosse or service, who hated the unvarnished smell of this house. It smelled of old cheese, we said, of wet dog, of morning breath. Our mother smacked our mouths for insolence and insisted we come once a month to visit this woman, our grandmother, the woman who'd raised her. She had a French poodle named Jacques who curled up beside you, but bit when you pet him in the wrong spot. His entire body was the wrong spot most days. And I realized none of those are exactly lighthearted pieces, so I'm going to end this section with something with a little more levity. And there is a PG moment in this, so sorry. It's called Porch Raccoons. Less animal than cartoon, peeking out of a walnut tree at 5 a.m. in my city backyard. Your faces mascaraed, petrified and staring, as you scavenge for breakfast through postage stamp yards and filthy alleys, sullied by unwanted dresses and orange peels. You consort with squirrels in the dark, eyes gleaming, opposable thumbs poised for a fight, eventually tucking your babies into the crevice of a tree so they sleep without danger of falling and prepare for their savage educations. I didn't expect to see you here, and might nearly be enamored. But you stole my tomatoes, you fuckers. So that's the end of that segment of poems. I'm going to shift gears now and actually read a very short story. Since I started writing poetry about 4 years ago, I've been really interested in sort of the discipline of short form. So when I occasionally go back to fiction writing, I tend to sort of let the story have its narrative, kind of do what it wants to do, and then I try to impose a word limit and start stripping things back to just the bare essentials to see what's left. So this piece started out to be almost 900 words, and it's now, I think I aimed for 500 words, and I came in right at like 498. So it's lost about half of its muscle, but I was excited by the results. This story was based on a true incident that happened. The characters are changed pretty radically in the piece, but the episode at the center is pretty faithful to how things actually unfolded. So this piece is called Ramps. I'm off to break some laws this afternoon, he said. You in? Joey and I worked together at Mineola's Pizza, the only place in rural Michigan to get a real New York pie. Let's do it, I said. After shift, we hopped into his blue van and drove 20 minutes before ending up in the woods, tipped high with evergreen and alive with trillium just starting to bloom. 6 no trespassing signs posted like billboards. He handed me a trowel. You ready? He headed to a spot way back off the road, and I followed like a kid on my way to Our Lady of Sorrows for Easter Sunday. He stabbed his trowel into the soil, shimmied it in place, and came back with a bouquet of skinny onions sheathed in pink. You smell that? He said. First sign of spring. Joey chopped the muddy roots of one bulb and peeled the skin, cutting a piece the size of a golf pencil to put in my mouth. The sharpness burned, but I gave myself over to it because he'd just stolen something from the earth to feed to me. They look like lilies of the valley, I said. Just then, a thud and the sharp scream of tires. So we ran back to make sure his car was okay. A pickup was speeding off, and there in the road was a downed doe, lying on her side, flailing. Hey, what the hell? Joey yelled at the truck. I was afraid to get close. The doe's legs galloped at the air like a racehorse with no track underneath it. God damn it, Joey muttered. The doe was convulsing now and released a wail from her throat. I'd never known a deer to make a sound, so the keen of her dying voice ruined me for hope. Joey stood near her head and tried to muster the strength to kick her hard. He couldn't do it and collapsed beside her, crying, then put his huge catcher's mitt of a hand on her head. A patrol car turned onto the road and slowed at the sight of us. Dying doe, bereft man, helpless onlooker. The officer asked what happened and we told him what we knew, which wasn't much of anything to help the situation. You know I'm going to have to shoot her, right? I wanted him to do it right then, but the officer was working to spare us something. Like we deserved more than this animal that devoured hydrangea right out of people's front yards. Maybe this was a mercy, but I hated it. Joey and I hurried into the car and drove away, and with each passing second, I thought to myself, shoot her, shoot her, shoot her, you prick. Finally, the crack of his pistol. Joey jolted in his seat and turned on the radio. He didn't say another word to me that day, and for many weeks afterward. When he did, it was just order up. Thanks. I'm going to go back to a handful of poems now, and I've been really interested for many years in sort of the notion of work, and specifically American labor. So I started a couple years back working on a chapbook about work. It's called These Professions, and each piece is intended to be just kind of a short portrait of a different person working. So I'm going to read a handful of these to kind of close out my session today. This one is called The Bank Teller. These envelopes of aspiration, last-minute rents, this stepkid's allowance for a poorly mowed lawn. Remember everything your father told you about wise decisions, about thrift. He remembers the depression. He knows how quickly it can spill out the other side. Your brother lost everything on a bet. A few 20s taped beneath the dresser just in case. Go forth and build empires. Tip your servers. Make reparations. Buy a cheese Danish from a Latvian bakery. Put $1 in a cup when asked. Draw a mustache on Abe Lincoln out of boredom. Send this dollar into the world with a message to the bureaucrats and dealers, to the loan officers' daughters and pedestrian sons. Trust me. This next one is called The Barista. And I should mention that as I went back to these pieces and tried to decide what to read today, I noticed that all of the pieces about men were kind of poignant and quiet and a little bit melancholy. And all the pieces about women were actually quite angry. And so I think there's a story in that somewhere about the traffic cones that women have to navigate to succeed in work and how depleting that can be. But this is a piece that probably demonstrates that difference. This is called The Barista. You come in every morning at 7 and order a cappuccino heated to 180 degrees, since you won't be able to drink it for 20 minutes, and it's cold outside, if you hadn't noticed. So the milk needs to be extra hot. And when the extra hot drink comes to $4.65, you put 35 cents in the tip jar with the exertion of a man on oxygen. Like you simply can't endure this social requirement one more day. And you call me darling. Can you hurry that up, darling? Like you were raised on dumplings and bruised apples from the catch basin of a tree. So today I spit in your coffee and stop the thermometer at 140 degrees. And if the contents spill because the lid didn't quite fully snap into place, perhaps you'll be grateful you didn't burn your hand. This next piece is called The Plumber. The plumber is a Catholic, a romantic, a bird watcher. Last month's sighting of a piping plover was the defining episode of his 46th year. He unraveled at the death of his father. He moisturizes. A world traveler, he will appreciate a fine bathroom, but not judge a poor one. A fine bathroom puts function over form, he believes. Each morning he wears one of 7 gray twill shirts in his closet with the patch over the breast pocket and goes to each scheduled appointment with the certainty, this is who I am. This is my name. And this poem is called The Internist. She makes more in a year than her mother saw in a lifetime. Weighed down by the cool albatross of a stethoscope, bored by the relentless thump-thump of 17 chests a day. How is it that skin can carry such burden? Today, one patient smells of mildew, another of witch hazel, another still a fish market at the end of the day. Do you drink alcohol? How many cigarettes will you smoke in a week? Gristle in the throat of this cancer survivor as she listens to the heart that will kill him within a year. She is obliged to touch the places not even their wives or husbands will go. She's lost her coal for this intrusion, for the profession's starched coats and authority, its biohazards and mocking antibiotics, all the inane posters of dandelions and cats. She wants never to swab another lesioned throat, scrape another cervix, stare into the waxy tributary of another ear canal. Fibromyalgia is a myth of the high-strung, she thinks. Anorexia, a dalliance of the privileged. She wants rest. She wants company. Her shingle is fading, her bones going soft. And the internet has 1,000 diagnoses and 10 times as many remedies for your swollen fingers. Who will administer to her body at the end of the day? Who will put a hand to her forehead? And this next piece is called The Baker. My sister will bake you a pie with black custard inside for your husband's 50th birthday. Or one that looks to be topped with meringue that's actually mashed potatoes. She'll bake you 3 dozen fortune cookies where the small slips of paper inside read, try again. Her idea of a king cake is one with the baby missing from the center. So the Catholics eat, the children search, and all of it comes to nothing. What a kick. She didn't invent the vagina geode cake, but she keeps one in her shop window and has orders on file through October. She'll bake you a cake in the shape of an ear of corn with a bite taken from the center. A sad clown holding a can of beer. There's a surprisingly large market for these wisecracking cakes. I don't fully understand this kind of bakery. To me, a cake's purpose is to congratulate yourself because you didn't cry at the office today, or finally clean the grout from the bath tiles. Today is my birthday, and I'll receive a cupcake topped with a set of plastic clattering teeth, reminding me she's always been the funny one. This next poem is called The Vacuum Cleaner Dealer, and it's actually based on someone my husband and I met about a year ago when we were shopping for a vacuum cleaner, which we purchased. The vacuum cleaner dealer. His shelves are lined with vintage Electrolux canisters, tincture blues and greens from space. He strokes a 1947 model, bequeathed from a customer on her way to the nursing home, like a lover with tender hands. The most common source of death to an appliance is not the failure to empty the drum, but to routinely clean the filter. This is personal to him. A good machine should last 2 decades or more. Don't be seduced by a bagless, sutured hunk of plastic waiting to betray you. This man with a shop, who can replace a cord in 5 minutes if you don't mind waiting, whose walls are covered in bags for purchase, who has lost thousands to internet shopping, who laments a world with no reverence for repairmen, who put 3 children through college but will likely be late on rent again, demonstrates the power of the largest motor ever to be placed in a vacuum in this model he rebuilt from parts. It's as if they dance a foxtrot together, this man, this machine, taking turns leading. And I just have one more. It's called The Sanitation Worker. His wife, by some miracle, still desires him, has grown accustomed to the smell of rotting on him, his willingness to touch anything, everywhere. He cleaned the vomit from the first baby, always sick at her stomach, unflinchingly, affectionately. It was nothing to him. It's no mystery what he carries into this house. Fungal spores on the bottoms of his shoes, yeasts incubating in the heat. There is life in it. The way his wife, children, 2 cats have adjusted to him is nothing short of starlings in formation. They climb his body, make a mountain of him, and he is their prize. Thank you so much. I appreciate your attention today. And again, it's been such an honor to be part of MUSEfest, and I do hope we can all be together in person again very soon. Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you, Christy. That was wonderful. Thank you for the window into all these worlds you've been exploring. That was just great reading. So up next, we've got Ivy Bona performing via video an original song called Falling. And after that, we've got a live performance by Jennifer Klonsky of the Jackass Magnets.
Falling, and you're out
was so great. That was Ivy Bona. And hopefully next time we have a MUSEfest, she's going to be in person and she's going to have a whole set of original songs. She's an excellent songwriter and filmmaker and director, multi-talented and dancer. So next up is Jennifer Klonsky of the Jackass Magnets. She's not showing up. So what I'm going to do is show a few videos, a couple that we haven't seen before and a couple that we saw yesterday. I would like to start with a wonderful video. Let me just scroll up and make sure I introduce this correctly, by Caroline Lavelle, called The Raven.
Here between us, earth and heaven, there are gods here who rule the air. Wheeling lazy by the margins, and breath is lifted, the birds are there. So the raven carries night across the day, dusk to dusk, light to light. It casts a shadow across the brilliant sky tonight. That will trace me. It sways and it bends, and that raven that flew into its arms is you, and you, my heart. Now the cold gleam of winter's night is captured by the sea. The path of silver leading far west to where my love lies, so far from me. Taken long from my arms of night to live in daylight, a world away. And the willow, it swings in a west wind that tells of ravens across
All right, so we're still waiting for Jennifer Klonsky to arrive in our broadcast studio. I'm going to play a video from a song I released this year called "Got a Thing for You."
Hello, welcome in my artist workshop. My name is Stephanie and I will show you my work.
Your mom called. She wants to know if you're bringing someone to the wedding.
Just likes your photo. Johnny says party's starting at 5. Don't forget the beer.
I remembered the beer.
Awesome, mate.
Do you know what this is?
Oh.
It's a dragon fruit. It's part of the cactus species, origin unknown. Swipe right, swipe left, swipe right, swipe right, swipe left, swipe right, match!
Hi.
Gina says, hey, winky face.
When was this beer built?
1909.
If you were an astronaut and I was deep sea diver, we'd find the surface of the earth is not so far. You come around, you come around. Only you and I don't see the end. Radio is streaming songs I can't pretend. Love, take leave of the senses. Love, you can take me home. You fall into earth on your knees. Inside these four walls is the only air you need. You come around, you come around. Only you and I don't see the end. Radio is streaming songs I can't pretend. But love, take leave of the senses. Love, you can take me home. Some talk and try to divine what keeps you up at night and spins you around. Only you and I don't see the end. Radio is streaming songs I can't pretend. But love, take leave of the sun.
Hello from Paris. I'm going to play a song called Dead Lady Cigarettes, which appears on my last record, which is called Slow Exhale. And if anyone was watching the conversation with myself and Hannah a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that this song is about my love of finding things in vintage markets in Paris, and maybe one or two other little histoires are tucked away in there too. It would be a pity to smoke the last cigarettes of a lady long dead. That's what she said as she left my head. Shut the book and close the case. A lovely leather pocket holds the whole thing in place. Did the lady die trying, as there's only 3 ones left? 3 unsmoked deaths on her delicate breath. Shut the book and close the case. The lady's gone back shivering to her lonely golden gaze. It would be a pity if we smoked some of her cigarettes. Dust in powder to put to her nose like a delicate rose as she gathers her clothes, ties the belt to show how svelte this lovely deal is that she's just been dealt. Would it be a pity to take stock from the chase? Open the case, kiss and embrace. Close your eyes and smoke the lines. 3 pieces packed in a red metal stack. 3 pieces packed in a red metal stack.
I never get tired of listening to Liv Monahan. She's a wonderful singer and composer. So up next is a video by choreographer Kelly Donovan. Kelly is a contemporary choreographer. She's a choreographer, dancer, and she's founder of Kelly Donovan Dancers. Today's dance that she prepared to share with you is called Imaginary Conversations. It's a modern dance solo to a voiceover by Richard Moss. You can also join Kelly on Patreon for dance events, classes, and tarot readings monthly. I'm going to give you that information in the comments area. But let me pull up her video.
Have you ever noticed how much time you spend inside yourself, inside your mind, talking to yourself about you, talking to yourself about what you should have done or should do, but also talking to other people, imagining a conversation that you want to have with that person, the conversation that's going to finally help you explain to someone else what's so important to you, what you would like them to understand about you. Or maybe it's a conversation about asking for forgiveness, about how you've learned to see through different eyes and you can recognize where the other person is, and you want them to know how you have had this change of heart. But the fascinating thing, the really fascinating thing is that when you finally sit down in front of any of those people, the conversation will never unfold that way. Because the person you imagine inside of yourself is your own creation. The person you're talking to isn't your daughter or your son or your husband or your wife or your lover or your girlfriend, boyfriend, someone at work, your employer, it isn't ever that person. That person in your head is your own construct. It's an imaginary world. And in so doing, actually not being present in our bodies, to our real feelings, to our actual sensations, to what's really happening right now, to what we see, what we hear, the world itself. The vast majority of the time, we're just simply churning story after story after story, conversation after conversation after conversation with people that we think are real, but are really just creations in our own mind. So if you can see this, just simply say, oh, I'm in an imaginary conversation. And in that second, let it go. Feel what happens in that second, in that moment in which there's been so much identification, so much of thinking invested in that imaginary conversation. And then your aware ego looks and sees, look at what I'm doing. I'm having an imaginary conversation. And in that split second, it drops. And you're in a moment, and usually it's only a moment before some other form of thinking comes in. For example, the narrator will come in and say, oh, look, I woke up to the fact that I was in an imaginary conversation and I stopped it. And so the narrator starts telling you, the commentator starts telling you what you did and how well you did it. And between the narrator, commentator, and this process of repeated conversations with people in our heads, I think for most of us, that's probably 90% of the ways in which we simply avoid being alive, awake, present, here and now. And so by pointing this out, I'm inviting you to trust that when it comes time to have a real conversation with someone, because you've stopped these imaginary conversations over and over again, you'll be in a better position to actually speak from your heart, and you'll be in a better position to hear this person when they speak to you. Because if you've dwelled so long on who they are and how they haven't been or how they should be and what you should say and what you shouldn't say, then you've constructed them in such a way that when they're actually in front of you, you won't see them and you really won't hear them. You'll filter them and you'll filter what they say. You'll reinterpret what they say so quickly that the conversation is, in a sense, doomed to ever having real intimacy, real connectedness, and knowing that when a real conversation is happening, it will unfold. I'll be available to myself, to my feeling, to my heart. My body wisdom and my heart wisdom will be there, informing my words, and I'll be able to hear the other, see the other, sense the other, understand more of where he or she is coming from. So wake yourself up out of these imaginary conversations and all the commenting you make and narrating you make about these imaginary conversations. And take a taste again and again and again.
That was very cool. That was Kelly Donovan with one of her original pieces. So up next, we've got Kathy Greenhold. She is going to be singing some songs from a recently released album, If. She's a Chicago indie singer-songwriter, and I'm really happy to have her here on MUSEfest.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Hannah, for having me. Take a little drive down on 55. Wind blow in my hair proves I am alive. 'Cause I have seen dust and dreams till me one rolling through the light where it all began. Prairie touches sky till the end of time. Between sunset seas, tell me what that means. There is nothing clear in my rearview mirror. How far down the road do I have to go? And when I ride into the sea, tell me what that means. What that means. So that was What That Means off my brand new record, If, which I have here on display. Just like if we were in a regular show. It's a very strange year to release a new album, as I know has been the case for a lot of musicians because of the inability to do live shows for the most part. And so this is actually my first performance of the songs from the album, some of the songs, since I released the album. However, now I did write another song during this pandemic that I'd like to play for you as soon as I tune a little bit. And the song is called Roots, and I wrote it because my friend Jenny Beneman, whose birthday is today actually, in addition to being a songwriter, is a poet and specializes in haiku poetry along with photography. And she has asked a lot of her songwriter friends to write songs based on her haikus. So I would like to read to you the haiku before I perform. And it's the haiku that inspired this song, Roots. The haiku by Jenny Beneman is, "We are here and gone, a moment in time fleeting and yet eternal." And I play this for you now because what inspired me to write this song based on that poem is the pandemic and the many losses that people have had to experience this year. However, I feel like having experienced death near me too, so much continues of a person's life after they've left us. And so this song, Roots, I hope you find a little bit of comfort from if you're experiencing loss right now. Night is falling, lilacs pierce the darkness with the scent of time. Shadows hide the wisdom of my garden till the moon shines, and soon my heart will go to sleep as life grows where the roots are deep. Morning welcomes all the green around me where I don't before. In my stillness, I can feel a flower kiss my face. To mourn, for now my heart has gone to sleep. But I am bigger than the weeds, and so I planted every seed, 'cause life grows where the roots are deep. Yeah, life grows there. So I grew up Catholic, and I actually work for the Catholic Church. My own spirituality is somewhat different than the Catholic faith. However, I'm really inspired by many of the women, real women who were Catholic saints. And so this next song was inspired by Catherine of Siena, Italy, who was an extremely strong, powerful woman during the Middle Ages. Men at a time when women weren't considered exactly as human as men, men would come to Catherine for advice, people who were leaders of their communities, and even the Pope. But I had a hard time connecting to Catherine when I first tried to write about her. And because she was such a fierce individual. But I learned that when she was a little girl, she was actually full of joy, and her neighbors called her by this Greek name, Euphrosyne, a nickname. And Euphrosyne was a minor goddess, a goddess of mirth, so the name means joy. And then this song, I live in Chicago in the United States, and we have pretty severe winters a lot of times. So this song ties into winter and longing for joy. silence through the bitter cold. Shadows where I'm all alone, but I remember when you were walking in the sun, laughing like no other one. And then you took my hand. You froze in your mind. You froze in your mind. I could never understand why you let me be your friend when I'm darker than night. Playing all your hands, I began to sing the blues till you danced out of sight. You froze me, I cried. You froze me on high. The sadness in my mind needs you. You froze me your wine. You froze me on high. The sadness in my mind. Silence in the bitter cold. Shadows where I'm all alone, but I remember. So I remember, and this morning I did wake up and see a little bit of snow in the yard. It's melted now. Just check my tuning quick. I'm a person who tends to beat on my guitar easily, so it goes out of tune easy. So this next song, If, is the title song to the album, and it also was inspired by a saint, this time Saint Clare of Assisi, and another fierce woman from the Middle Ages. But what I particularly loved about Clare is that on her deathbed, she reportedly said to God, you know, basically, you should be thankful to me for existing. And we all should be proud to exist, I think. So I think it's challenging sometimes too when we are women. So we need to look for ways to reinforce our wonderfulness. All right. This song was sort of written like it was the bass guitar part. So. If I am holy, if I am bright, Why can I not see my light? Fighting dragons in the night. Why do they not run and hide with this shining soul? I have conquered more, and my heart is beating full. I am beauty, I am love. Why do I look up above? For the peace only I can know, and the courage to finally do where the angel sings deep inside of me. If I listen, will I believe? If I am bigger than heaven's wall, why can I not be it all? Thank you. I also, well, before we move on, I want to thank you for listening, and I would like to thank Hannah for organizing this whole festival with all these wonderful women artists. It's really a diverse and awesome thing, especially while we are all home. And so thank you, Hannah, for organizing everything. And I look forward to your set, too, to close us all out at the end of the day. So, I don't write all about Catholic saints, and I'm interested in our present world too. And our present world is wonderful in a lot of ways, but we also have some issues that we need to address, of course. And certainly one that affects us all over the world is our climate. And so I wrote this song while sitting in my garden last May, or not last May, but another May. This is another song from my album. And lilacs were blooming, which is normal during May here in Chicago. However, it was a really hot day and the lilacs did not last very long. But there can be this sense that everything seems okay in the world when we see things like the lilacs blooming or the bees buzzing around or the butterflies. But we have issues that we need to work together to resolve. And so this song, Change is Coming, is designed to be a little bit of a wake-up call. I'm sorry. Lilacs bloom in the heat of May. Change is coming, but we got today. Golden bees dance on the flowers. like Roman flames in the final hour, burn it down. Drunk with power we do not see, how our greed poisons all we need. Raise a glass to our motherland, leads in oceans where we wash our hands. Count it down. One more lilacs bloom in the heat of May. Change is coming. So I hope while change is coming, more changes are coming that will be positive. We can work together on that. So, do I have time for one more song, Hannah? Yes, okay. So I have one more song. This one I'm gonna finger pick. So this last song, Theos, I wrote after visiting Greece 2 years ago. I love to travel, and I get a lot of inspiration for my songs from traveling. And I really look forward to when we can travel again. But this song I wrote, it was inspired from an event on the very last day that I was in Greece. We were in Athens, and the cab was there waiting for us to go to the airport. And we were staying at a hotel downtown. And they have in Athens, if maybe you know if you've been there, but if you haven't, they have tiny little Orthodox chapels all over the place. And there was one right across from our very modern hotel, under the overhang of the very modern hotel next door to us. And I signaled to the cab driver, "I'll be right back." And then I ran into the tiny chapel, and there was an icon, a silver icon of Mary and Jesus. And when people visit these chapels, they kiss the icon. So I just spontaneously, I just ran in there, I kissed the icon, and then I left. And for whatever reason, when in Rome, but this time when in Athens. So so then when I got home, I wrote this song, and it's called Theos. Theos means God in Greek. Theotokos means, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, means the mother of the God. So I wrote this song about the mother of the God, but I sort of elevated her beyond the mother of the God. So this is Theos. And before I do that, I just want to thank everybody for listening, and thank Hannah one more time for inviting me and for this wonderful festival. Oh, and if you would like to know more about my music, visit kathygreenholt.com, and thank you. All right. Kiss you once before I go. Time to make my way back home. I must travel till my lips turn cold. Lady, will you come to me at the end of my journey? Hold my weary bones so I can sleep. Queen who wears a thorny crown, dress me in your silver gown. Lift your scepter, raise me from the ground. Theos, 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 Thank you. Be well, everybody.
Thank you so much, Kathy Greenholt. That was a beautiful set. It's always a pleasure to hear your songs. We got next a wonderful video from Carol Silverstein. Carol is a visual artist, and she submitted a short film by Eric Min Swenson from a solo show, In Your Thousand Other Forms. That was an exhibition January through March 2020, this crazy year, and Gallery 169 in Santa Monica. Let's play it.
Hi, I'm Carol Silverstein. Here we are at Gallery 169 near the beach in Santa Monica at my solo show, In Your Thousand Other Forms. I'm looking at patterns from many different cultures and how they interact. And I'm hoping the forms and the paintings open up all of your different thousand other forms. It's an interaction about yourself as much as myself in making these paintings. My paintings intend to elevate the feminine and the sacred. And in the patterns that I'm using, I'm really interested in their symbolic meaning, covert symbolic meaning as well, either in the sacred geometries or in the interlaces that are in each of these patterns, the figure ground, and what they represent as screens, veils, portals to other worlds. So I'm really interested in the meaning and the mixing and the juxtaposing of them and discovering a new language with them. So this painting is called The Certainty of Tides, and the patterns that I'm working with here, this is a Japanese wave pattern that I've used on this side, and on this side is a Moroccan sacred geometry pattern of stars and florets. It's macro and micro, and it's in the form of kind of a wave and an arch, both architectural and talking about the wave of the ocean and movement. There's a lot that goes on too with fluidity and solidity, boundaries and expansiveness. I want my paintings to be intimate but also expansive. The sand that's in the gallery is grounding and also ethereal. So I'm looking for those different dichotomies and interchanges. So this painting is called The Deepest Ocean. I really want you to get lost in the colors, the different kinds of blues and the space, the deepest space that's suggested. So I'm really interested in you having a seduced visual vibration from all these different patterns and how they talk to one another, how they juxtapose, how they blend, and how they make your mind wander into dream space.
That was wonderful. That was beautiful. Thank you, Carol, for sharing that with us. So our next guest is Jennifer Klonsky. I am so glad she's here. And I think she's glad she's here too. We had a second tracking her down. So Jennifer is many things. She is also a singer-songwriter, and she's the front woman of the Jackass Magnets. She's also a podcast co-host of A Todo Madreship. So I'm going to bring her up here and give it up for Jennifer Klonsky.
Hannah, thank you so much for inviting me all the way to Paris to play a set. Sorry, I guess I must have gotten confused with the time zones while I was flying virtually to the Paris of my mind. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you MUSEfest, and thank you all you other wonderful musicians. I'll play a couple songs for you. Dear Henry, let me drive you home. It doesn't seem right to leave you walking around alone. You're a stranger in this town. You don't know your way around. Dear Dear Henry, won't you come on in my car? I promise it's no trouble. We're not going very far. Well, I'm just trying to be your friend. Now the night's come to an end. Dear Henry, I take a ride. Fast and a little giddy. I'm just nervous and I don't know what to do. So here we are, just walking around on Lincoln Avenue. Oh, Henry, it's too crazy to be true. Well, there's so much I want to tell you. I don't want to let this moment slip away. And I've had a flag on the stereo and nowhere else to be. Oh, come on, Henry, take a little ride with me. Here, I take a ride. The trip is always sweeter with a good friend by your side. We can have a conversation, change the world, save the nation. Dear Henry, I wanna take a ride. Dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Thank you. A different version of that song is on the Jackass Magnets Bandcamp page. So if you want to hear me with my bandmates, who I sorely miss during this quarantine, check it out. Thank you. This song is called Marcel, and Marcel is a French name, and I'm in Paris in my mind right now, so that's why I'm playing this song. Thank you. Constellation, you're the only star. But tonight I'm lonely, and I don't know where you are. No one can possess you. I know it all too well. But you possess my heart and soul, Marcel. Hills were burning on that summer night. Rode your motorcycle up to see the city light. As you held me in your arms, all the flames went higher. Marcel, you set the night on fire. Oh my love, I'm crawling on. Oh my love, why don't you call me anymore? Oh my love, for you I crawl through hell. Please don't make me do it myself. Your eyes are embers and your fingers shooting stars. This is what I remember all alone here in the dark. You gave me a secret I can never tell. I'll carry it to my grave, Marcel. Oh my love, I'm crawling on your I know it all too well. True sex, my heart and soul, Marcel. Please don't make me cruel, Marcel. C'est soit je suis seul, Marcel. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, MUSEfest. Thank you, all you wonderful musicians.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. That was a great set. Unfortunately, it was a little bit shorter than planned, but next time we're going to get the full Jennifer Klonsky experience, maybe the full band as well. So up next, I'm so happy to be able to introduce to you Suzanne Faring. Suzanne is an amazing person and artist. She's a jazz, blues, Americana guitarist. She's a vocalist and a composer. And just sit back and listen to her set. She's wonderful, and here she is.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you, Hannah. Someday it'll be in person, maybe even in France when this nightmare's over. My name is Suzanne Faring, and I write a variety of styles. And thank goodness I do, because with quarantine, I wouldn't be able to pay my rent. But what I decided to do today was a bunch of Christmas songs. So every year I write a new Christmas song, and I decided that this might be a good time to kind of just do a whole set of my original Christmas songs. This first song is called Snow Day in the South. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and it doesn't snow a lot, but I'm from New York, where it snows a lot. And I was born in Buffalo, where it snows even more. But I've been down here for a while, and you miss at least one good snowstorm. So a couple of years ago, we had one here in Nashville, and I woke up and I just couldn't believe it. There was just feet of snow outside, and the neighborhood went crazy. So this is my take, waking up and looking out my window. It was amazing. I just want to warn you, I'm using my looper. That is my band today. So if it's a little bumpy, just put up with it. Let's pretend that it's Sunday morning. The cover's pulled up and we're tucked in tight. Put an end to the alarm clock warning. Sleeping in late, we'll start the day off right. Then after a cup, we'll bundle up. And then it's time to dig out. I'll catch snowflakes in my mouth. It's a snow day in the South. Passing by all our neighbors and friends. Kids happy not to read and write. They just fly as their sled descends. Everyone holding on for dear life. Well, it's such a thrill as they zip down the hill, laughing as they scream and shout. I'll catch snowflakes in my mouth. It's a snow day in the South. I realize that my friends in New York are tired of this kind of weather. But oh, what a sight to see the South dressed in white. And you and I keeping warm together. I realize that my friends in New York are tired of this kind of weather. But oh, what a sight to see the South dressed in white, and you and I keeping warm together when the moon is making it shimmer. We'll go walking and you'll take my hand, and then soon your eyes softly glimmer. We won't need words to understand our tracks in the snow. Let everyone know what this night is truly about. I'm catching snowflakes in my mouth. Wonderful, beautiful snowflakes. I'm dead catching snowflakes in my mouth. It's a snow day in the South. Thank you so much. It's funny, Stephen Colbert was talking on his show the other day about how awkward it is to do shows without an audience, and especially comedy. I can totally relate, since I used to do a lot of comedy and include that in my show. But it's also kind of, sorry, technical issue with my page. But yeah, it's hard doing these live shows. So hats off to all the women today for doing it. I have a very good friend named Christy Skinner, a budding rock and blues guitarist, one of my good friends and students. And we wrote this song. She had this great idea about getting out of winter, called There Ain't No Snow in Mexico. So once again, I play these once a year, so excuse the bumps and the extra beats and that sort of thing. They say it is a season to be jolly, so why am I alone under this holly? All that glitters is not gold. If the fire's hot, but I'm still cold. Icicles glistening off the trees only makes my maudlin heart freeze. No 8-parties, champagne or booze can wash away my winter blues. I wanna go where I gotta go where avocados grow and tequila flows like wine. I'll dip my toes in Pacifico and lose all sense of time. South of the border, where the cold winds never blow. Sun shines on water, don't have to live like an Eskimo. No, 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 'cause there ain't no snow in Mexico. No, there ain't no snow in Mexico. You can keep the apple and its frosting. I'm heading out no matter what it's costing. Trade a hot toddy for one, for a hot body in the sun. If you call, I'll be out of reach. Oh, look for 8 sparkling candles on the beach, dancing where the mariachi play, watching old Santa Claus sway. I've got to go where avocados grow and tequila flows like wine. I'll dip my toes in Pacifico and lose all sense of time. Oh, 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 'cause there ain't no snow in Mexico. No, there ain't no snow in Mexico. No, there ain't no snow in Mexico. Like a damn, don't you know I gotta go down south, even further south than Nashville, on south of the border. Gotta get away, don't you know, from the snow. Oh my goodness, there goes Santa walking by in a bikini. Oh, not exactly a room with a view, 'cause there ain't no snow in Mexico. Hey, the crowd goes crazy. Wow. So, this is my tip jar here. It's kind of hard to read. I can try and move it, but it tends to fade out in the light. But anyway, it says Venmo at Suzanne-Firing, SUZAHN. And then PayPal is jazzisdiva with all Z's at yahoo.com. And hit me up if you want guitar lessons. I teach everything from rock to blues to jazz and gypsy jazz, voice, piano, songwriting. You get the idea. Okay. So this is the one I wrote last year before the madness of COVID. This is inspired by my family in California. Did I set my band? I think I did. There may be silver frost upon the trees. The sky might snow, and even though the temperature might freeze, we'll hang our clear white lights to make the season bright. Our friends will fit the mood by bringing Chinese food. We'll fill our glasses and we'll raise them high. Let me do that again. We'll fill our glasses and we'll raise them. One more time. Bad Dobby, bad Looper. We'll fill our glasses and we'll raise them high. Then we'll toast those we miss the most and laugh instead of cry. As long as you are here and friends are drawing near, we'll give our best, then leave the rest for Christmas. Ain't it crazy how the world just keeps on changing? And friends we love just seem to come and go away. But through the pain of all that rearranging, some things remain the same. Ain't it crazy how the world just keeps on changing? And folks we know just seem to come and go away. But through the pain of all that rearranging, if we see Santa on his sleigh. Who needs a list of silly gifts when we are old and gray? As long as you are here and friends are drawing near, we'll give our best and leave the rest. We'll give our best and leave the rest. We'll give our best and leave the rest to Christmas. Wow, that was tough to get through, but hopefully you didn't turn me off in that. And of course, if anyone wants to record these songs, that's what I do for a living. So hit me up. I also write music, quite a lot of music for film and TV. Okay, let me change the band. There we go. It's quite complicated. And I ain't no Ed Sheeran, but I will be one day. So, as I mentioned before, I've done a ton of comedy. I used to be a stand-up comic back in the day in New York. Those were the days. And so I incorporate a lot of that, and I write funny songs. I used to do roasts for people. So people would hire me to write just painfully mean songs about their family members. But, yeah, it was pretty fun, pretty easy. So this next song is my 2020 Christmas song. And yes, it is satirical. I am a fast folk recording artist. I've got my songs in the Smithsonian to prove it, so I'm allowed to make fun of Americana and folk artists. Wait, I got something rattling on this guitar like a snare. Stop that. That's better. It's been quite a year. We've all been taken to task, fighting back our fears. 2020 can kiss my ass. Now the holidays are upon us. Everything's obnoxiously red and green, but there's one gift that won't bore us. It's on every Christmas list that I have ever seen. Breathe, dramatic pause, breathe. For the first time, we're all united, from sea to shining sea. Every person on this tiny planet, except for the creeping of Kentucky salmon seed. And dear Santa, don't be cruel. Yes, I know. I asked for a new washing machine, and every time I left my house without a mask, yes, I know I was a total tool, but I just can't take another minute in this quarantine. I need a shot or two, no, not infused with booze. I need a jab, yes, stick me good. Make me the trendiest chick in my neighborhood. Old Saint Nick, don't be a prick. Don't wanna be a hydroxychloroquine. Don't wanna be on the beach snorting bleach. Just give me the best gift that I have ever seen. All I want for Christmas is a
take a deep breath. What I really want is it to be long-lasting, virus-blasting, no stomach wrecking or side affecting. Ain't nobody gotta get so hot. Hug my friends, get my life back again. Won't mess with my heart or make me fart. Because, you know, sometimes medicines do that. And it's so damn nice, they're gonna give it to me twice. I said, oh, I want for Christmas. All I really, 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 really want for Christmas is a vaccine. Please wear your effing mask. 2020 can kiss my ass. And jazz hands. Yay! Thank you so much. I know there's somebody out there laughing at that. Well, probably my friend Lisa, also a gypsy jazz guitar student extraordinaire. She's laughing because I paid her. Girl, you owe me. You owe me a guffaw. Big time. Okay, I'm going to end with my last tune. I hope you guys can see me. I hope I'm not too far back. I just realized that. Oh, well. I hope you can, because I'm having a great hair day. I have to tell one of my gay boyfriends that I don't really need his services because I've been cutting my own hair in quarantine. Okay, this is the medley of my Christmas hit. Let's see here. Let me make sure the band is ready. Ooh, it's ready. Yay. I'm going to finish with this. Thanks, Hannah, so much. I want you guys to know I met Hannah in Paris. It was super cool. I was teaching a master class for girls, a rock camp. And it was so much fun. Her daughter was in the camp. And oh my God, she was so cute. And it was just very cool to be rocking out in the Marie's office in Paris. And we've stayed friends. And hopefully we'll do some more in the future, right together, do some gigs together. The world is our oyster after quarantine. Oh, yeah. So, this is called Send Me Snow. And once again, I haven't played it very much this year, so. Santa, dear, read the letter I signed. A winter with a wounded heart can be so unkind. The twinkling red and green only makes me feel blue. This quiet old house needs some magic that can only come from you. Send me snow, so the street lights glimmer and glow. Take my troubles to the angels, I'm ready to let them go. Send me snow, will those cold winds blow? All I want for Christmas, ho, 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 is send me ba-da-doo-day-day, ba-da-doo-day, ba-da-doo-bo-day, ba-da-doo-day-dum-day, send me. Santa, dear, it's on the top of my list. I'm under the mistletoe, but chances are slim that I'll ever be kissed. One lonely shadow from the fire's light, one toast that used to be two, could be a distant memory tonight. Santa baby, see me through and send me. Send me snow, ba-dee-ba-wee-da, send me snow. Send me snow, send me snow, so the street lights glimmer and glow. I take my troubles to the angels, I'm ready to let them go. Send me snow, send me snow, will those cold winds blow? All I want for Christmas, ho, 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 send me. Send me snow. Ho, 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 send me snow. Ho, 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 send me snow. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much, Hannah. I'll see you soon. Let's definitely try and network, all you women, and see if we can meet in person one day soon. Bye, all. Peace.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. That was so wonderful. I have to say, we were like out here, you know, laughing and clapping. That was a wonderful set. That was charming. It was nice to hear some Christmas songs. I sort of forgot it was the season. It was nice to be reminded. And I agree. Let's definitely stay in touch and connect. And that's been one of the really wonderful things about MUSEfest, is being connected in a moment where you can feel a little disconnect sometimes. So that was absolutely lovely. Yay. So what's happening with MUSEfest is we've got one more video and one more short set. Emily Gabrielle has prepared a video to present tonight. And then after that, I'm going to do the second half of my set from my record Stingray. And then that's a set. Then that's a take. It's MUSEfest 2020 online, and it's been a little bit of an experiment to see how we could gather the troops, how it was going to work, and it's turned out pretty nicely. I'm really happy to present to you Emily Gabrielle. She is a wonderful singer-songwriter. She's a New York City-based singer-songwriter and performing artist, and here she is.
Hi, my name is Emily Gabrielle. And you can type that into however you stream your music and listen to some of my songs. You should also follow me at EG Music NYC on Instagram. That's EG Music NYC on Instagram. So thanks so much to Hannah for organizing this incredible event. I'm happy to be a part of it. And I hope that you enjoy the song that I wrote. It's called Talking to Strangers. We were talking to strangers, pouring hurts just a little. And it hurts just a little. I think I'm mixing metaphors. They call me the Big Dipper. The nights we spent when we're apart, weave our dreams together. We're uneven, we're not severed, connected by the weather. White or green, a shade of gray, black denim or some leather. And it hurts just a little. And it hurts just a little. Knick-knack, kneecap smack, fight or home. You say you need your space, but also say you feel alone. Bottles kept on ice in a vessel of cologne. It's unknown the scent you sent, a gallon drunk or slightly stoned. An evening with a 1-2 punch. Say you need your space, but also say you feel alone. An evening with a 1-2 punch. We were talking to strangers, pouring out anger, saying too much. And I had all the excuses, but I couldn't lose this. Now I lost touch. And it hurts just a little, yeah, just a touch. And it hurts just a little, and not that we were talking to a stranger. We were talking to a stranger. We were talking to strangers. Well, I said too much. Thanks so much. Again, I'm Emily Gabriel. Follow me on Instagram at egmusicnyc.
That was awesome. That was Emily Gabriel, and I'm Hannah Judson. I'm going to conclude this edition of MUSEfest with 3 songs from Stingray, my record. And the first one is going to be the title song of the record, Stingray. Take all the time you need to get over the show. Let the stingrays dive in the water. You're just there treading the side. Takes those things up to the page and explains what there's the matter here. It's harder than simple definitions. What's really going on? What's missing? Everything's alright, 'cause it's to ignore, but it's alright now, and it's all, but it's alright now. Just because you believe and words and loudly doesn't mean you have to hide or second guess your own mind. Stay safe. Jump a little higher, so that you can walk off the floor. Think you do the best work, but it's all I want. Hey, yeah, turn on the light.
riding around. Never to crash, we just keep going down. Never to crash, we just keep going down. I saw the Wizard of Oz late at night on TV, standing there with the curtain drawn for you to finally see. He's just standing there. Curtain falling. Falls asleep in the corner on the floor. And there's a big mess to ignore. But it's alright now. And it's alright now. I realize I don't need to turn I can take these off because I'm not going to be listening to anything else. So if the audio is not good, let me know in the messages. I am hoping that you can hear the guitar and hear the vocals. Is that true? So this next song I'm going to do is called Twisted. All right. What I'm going to do, actually, first I'm going to put my, oh, that's already in there. Okay. Hold on to my hand, we tumble to the shore, just a roll of the dice, my friend, to and fro. It's twisted. Yours locked away, up and out of reach. Walk right past the record store, you don't feel me. They can be the ones you love, leave dishes in the sink. It's twisted, it's twisted, it got twisted. She waits behind the door. She waits behind the door. Lies with you on the floor. How long have you believed lost comes for the game? That you left in the hotel room before you blacked out on the train. How many blessings are all time? Pull yourself apart. You write the songs to fuel the night when you don't know what's there. It's twisted, twisted, twisted. Fire is on, twisted. So twisted, it got twisted. Your fire is on. All right, so this is the next song I'm going to sing. This is going to be the last song of MUSEfest.
So just to say, please do scroll through and support the artists that you've seen today and yesterday. If you didn't get to see yesterday's live stream, it's on the MUSEfest Facebook page. It's also on my Hannah Judson YouTube channel. And that's what's happening there. And definitely, you can also support MUSEfest by buying a MUSEfest t-shirt. There are plenty available. This last song is called Light Above Your Head. And it's a song I wrote about falling asleep while you're reading. And then you go on to dream other things. And that's sort of how this song also took place as I was writing it. I started writing about what I was reading, and then it just sort of, the song turned into multiple songs, multiple stories.
Dreaming is crazy, 'cause everything is true. Things escape the forms they take, smoke rises from the light above your head, the light above your head, light above your head, light above your head. I prayed you would get better. It did not quite work out that way. Stories were so looks like a snow day. You just can't play. The light above your head, light above your head, light above your head, light above your head. All rise, all rise. Don't breathe the last one on your feet tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us at MUSEfest. Please support your artists. Please like us on Facebook. There's going to be more MUSEfest events coming up in 2021 when we turn the page into a new year. So thank you so much. This has been a blast. Thank you to all the wonderful artists who joined so willingly. Like everybody I asked was like, yes, yes, yes. I got hardly, no no's. So it was an easy show to curate because the willingness and the generosity of every single performer who created a video for this and did everything on time. It's been wonderful to work with all of my friends and colleagues in the creative fields. What a wonderful moment for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. So stay in touch, right?